From tiny biplanes to the world's first jet fighters, World War II pushed aircraft design to its absolute limit, and this video catalogs every major fighter that battled for control of the skies over 6 brutal years. Stick around because we're covering fighters from all sides. We begin with early war biplanes. The Gloucester Gladiator was Britain's last biplane fighter, serving from 1937 through the early war years. Though obsolete by 1940, it defended Malta and Norway with distinction. Its open cockpit and fabric-covered wings belong to an earlier era. The Fiat CR 42 Falco was Italy's primary biplane fighter, remaining in production until 1942. Highly maneuverable and well-loved by pilots, it achieved surprising success in the Mediterranean. Against modern monoplanes, however, it was hopelessly outclassed. The Polikarpov I-15 and I-153 served as Soviet biplane fighters in the early war. The I-153 featured retractable landing gear, an unusual feature for biplanes. Both fought desperately during the German invasion but were rapidly replaced by modern designs, moving to early monoplane fighters. The Hawker Hurricane became Britain's first monoplane fighter, entering service in 1937. Rugged and easy to repair, it shot down more aircraft during the Battle of Britain than all other defenses combined. Its thick wings and sturdy construction made it an excellent gun platform. The Messerschmitt Bf 109 served as Germany's primary fighter from 1937 to the war's end. Over 33,000 were built, making it the most produced fighter in history. Fast, heavily armed, and deadly in skilled hands, it dominated early campaigns but struggled against newer Allied designs. The Curtiss P-40 Warhawk entered American service in 1940. Tough and reliable, it served on every front despite being outperformed by contemporaries. The Flying Tigers made it famous in China, where aggressive tactics compensated for performance limitations. The Mitsubishi A-6M0 revolutionized carrier aviation with its incredible range and maneuverability. Introduced in 1940, it shocked Allied forces during early Pacific battles. Lack of armor and self-sealing fuel tanks proved fatal once Allied pilots adapted their tactics. Next come the mid-war fighters. The Focke-Wulf 190 appeared in 1941 as a nasty surprise to the Royal Air Force. Its radial engine, heavy armament, and brutal performance made it feared by Allied pilots. Versatile variants served as fighters, fighter-bombers, and ground-attack aircraft. The Republic P-47 Thunderbolt was a massive fighter-bomber powered by a 2,000-horsepower engine. Nicknamed the Jug, it could absorb tremendous punishment and still bring pilots home. Its 8 machine guns and rocket capabilities made it devastating against ground targets. The North American P-51 Mustang transformed the air war over Europe. When fitted with the Merlin engine in 1943, it combined long range with exceptional performance. Mustangs escorted bombers deep into Germany, breaking the Luftwaffe's back. The Lockheed P-38 Lightning was America's distinctive twin-engine fighter. Its long range and heavy firepower suited Pacific operations perfectly. Unusual handling characteristics demanded skilled pilots, but in capable hands it was formidable. The Yakovlev Yak-1 became the Soviet Union's primary fighter in 1941. Simple, lightweight, and maneuverable, it could fight German aircraft on equal terms. Continuous improvements produced the Yak-3 and Yak-9, among the war's finest fighters. The Lavochkin Lag-3 entered Soviet service in 1941 with wooden construction and mediocre performance. Pilots called it the guaranteed lacquered coffin. Replacing its engine created the La-5, which transformed into an excellent fighter and later evolved into the superb La-7. The Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-3 was designed for high-altitude interception. It performed well above 16,000 feet, but most Eastern Front combat occurred at lower altitudes where it struggled. Production ended in 1941 after fewer than 3,500 were built. The Mach-E C-202 Folgore gave Italy a world-class fighter in 1941. Its German Daimler-Benz engine and sleek design delivered performance-matching Allied fighters. Pilots praised its handling, though armament remained light by contemporary standards. Late war fighters follow. The Grumman F-6F Hellcat was designed specifically to defeat the Zero. Introduced in 1943, it combined speed, firepower, ruggedness, and good handling. Hellcat pilots achieved a kill ratio of 19-1, the best of any American fighter. The Vought F-4U Corsair featured an inverted gull wing and a massive propeller. Initially deemed unsuitable for carriers, it excelled in Marine Corps hands. By 1944, carrier modifications made it the Navy's premier fighter, serving into the Korean War. The Kawasaki Ki-61 Hien was Japan's only inline engine fighter. Introduced in 1942, Allied pilots nicknamed it Tony and initially mistook it for Italian or German. Engine reliability problems plagued the design throughout production. The Nakajima Ki-84 Hayate appeared in 1944 as Japan's best all-around fighter. Fast, maneuverable, and well-armed, it could challenge any Allied fighter on equal terms. Poor quality control and fuel shortages prevented it from affecting the war's outcome. The Grumman F-4F Wildcat was America's principal carrier fighter in 1941. Stubby and tough, it was outperformed by the Zero but could absorb damage and keep fighting. Wildcats held the line during desperate early battles at Coral Sea and Midway. The Bell P-39 era Cobra featured an unusual mid-engine layout with the propeller driven by a long shaft. It struggled at high altitude but excelled in Soviet service at low level. The Soviets received nearly half of all P-39 seconds built. The Lavochkin La-5 transformed the mediocre Lag-3 by installing a radial engine. Introduced at Stalingrad in 1942, it could finally match German fighters. The refined La-7 became one of the war's finest fighters, flown by top Soviet aces. Now for specialized and naval fighters. The Bristol Beaufighter was a heavy fighter derived from the Beaufort bomber. Its devastating firepower and radar made it an exceptional night fighter and anti-shipping aircraft. Crews called it the Whispering Death for its quiet approach. The de Havilland Mosquito was built almost entirely of wood. This fast, versatile aircraft served as a fighter, fighter-bomber, night fighter, and reconnaissance platform. Its speed often allowed it to outrun enemy fighters without defensive armament. The Petlyakov Pe-3 was a Soviet twin-engine fighter derived from the Pe-2 dive bomber. It served primarily as a heavy fighter and night fighter. Limited production meant it never achieved the prominence of single-engine Soviet fighters. The Northrop P-61 Black Widow was America's purpose-built night fighter. Large and radar-equipped, it hunted German aircraft over Europe and Japanese planes over the Pacific. Its size and four-man crew were unusual for fighters. The Kawanishi N-1K Scheiden was developed from a floatplane fighter. Known to the Allies as George, it was one of Japan's finest fighters with excellent speed and firepower. Late introduction and production difficulties limited its impact. Jet and rocket fighters finished the list. The Messerschmitt Me 262 was the world's first operational jet fighter. Introduced in 1944, its speed made it nearly untouchable by Allied piston fighters. Fuel shortages, unreliable engines, and late deployment prevented it from changing the war's outcome. The Gloucester Meteor was Britain's first jet fighter, entering service in 1944. Initially used against V-1 flying bombs, it never encountered German jets in combat. Reliable engines gave it an advantage over the Me-262. The Heinkel He-162 Volksjäger was a desperate last attempt at mass-producing a jet fighter. Built largely of wood and designed to be flown by minimally trained pilots, it was rushed into service in early 1945. Few saw combat. The Messerschmitt Me 163 Come was a rocket-powered interceptor. Capable of 596 miles per hour, it was the fastest aircraft of the war. Its volatile fuel, short flight time, and dangerous landing characteristics made it as deadly to pilots as to enemies. Twin-engine and heavy fighters round out our catalog. The Lockheed P-38 Lightning served primarily in the Pacific and Mediterranean. Its twin-boom design was instantly recognizable. Top American aces, including Richard Bong, flew it extensively, praising its firepower and range. The Messerschmitt Bf 110 was designed as a heavy fighter and escort. It proved vulnerable during the Battle of Britain but found success as a night fighter equipped with radar. Its heavy armament devastated Allied bomber formations in the darkness. The Bristol Blenheim served as a light bomber, but obsolete examples were converted to heavy fighters. Outclassed by purpose-built fighters, it served primarily in less contested theaters. Its day as a frontline fighter was brief. From fabric-covered biplanes to screaming jet fighters, World War II witnessed the most dramatic transformation in fighter aircraft history.